Today. Now, going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have a Bud Light wildcard tweet is mostly a joker and wildly disappointing, with only 25 likes in 24 hours, which is almost impossibly terrible. I mean, not to brag, but I did get 12 likes on one of my videos last week. Now, I would also argue quality over quantity when it comes to my sample size and my experience with my fans. It's all about the best, having the best quality, not the quantity. And Bud Light is also a multi-billion-dollar company, and yet they only got 25 likes, which means the people who allegedly still work there didn't even like it. Perhaps some people were inebriated, they just liked it, but nevertheless, this particular tweet, or X, I guess they call it a post now, which to me just doesn't sound as satisfying. Let me know, do you call it a post or do you call it a tweet? Nevertheless, on the X Twitter platform, Bud Light sent out a tweet in which they said, quote, the MVP of Wildcard Weekend. And it is a very large woman wearing a jersey, has the word Smith on it, and it looks like the number is 0. So I'm not a big sports balls aficionado, but I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of sports balls players with the number 0. And she is taking a disproportional amount of the screen. So she is a very large individual, and there's some people chanting. You can't see her face. There's just the jersey. She has braided hair, and the text on the screen simply says the squad, and then below on the bottom of the screen says me remembering to bring the ice, and she's waddling or awkwardly dancing towards people, but she's not holding ice. You can't even see her hands. It's 6 seconds long, and they don't have volume, which again, perhaps, I mean, it is tough times. A lot of businesses are coming back. Maybe they couldn't afford the 18 cents of royalties for the music that would be, or they couldn't pay an intern 25 cents to create a 6-second song or amalgamation of notes. And so pretty boring. And they're dancing in front of a lot of people with green clothing on and an eagle. And there's 2 people holding blue blurry cans, since the focus is all on this woman. Is that maybe? Okay, there's 3 people. Your product placement is terrible if you have to search for it like it's finding where Waldo is. And the cans are not in focus, so they're just blue blurry cans. So you could presume they're Bud Light cans. But again, she's not even carrying the ice towards them. It's one of the most uninspiring commercials I've seen all year. Granted, it's a small sample size. We've only been in the new year for a couple weeks now. But again, I suppose this is inspirational for Eagles fans. But I suppose, what was I going to say? If we just go on the Brave search, who is Eagles player Smith? Deontay Smith comes up as a result. What number is he? Is he really 0? No, he's number 6. So, again, I don't know who. What's there? Just Eagles player number 0. What does that come up? Can't. Wait. It is a real number. What? What's next? Negative numbers? Fractions? So I guess it is DeAndre Swift. They say the numbers are in. The newest member of the Philadelphia Eagles will have their DeAndre Swift. I should have done some research. I do not believe it is related to Taylor Swift. It's now a 0% odds, though. And they said DeAndre Swift will wear uniform number 0. Which, I guess that's a thing now. Interesting. Huh. All right. I guess we learned something today. So I guess we could thank Bud Light for teaching us about their new sports balls player at the Eagles. I guess. And again, in terms of the feedback, only 7,075 people saw this. So in terms of views, that is pitiful for a multi-billion-dollar company. And they only got 26 views. They only got 13 comments. Now, granted, many of them are comical. Perhaps 1 or 2 will be interesting. But, again, I don't see how this builds the brand because you're not seeing the Bud Light logo. There's no Bud Light logo. You can't even really tell the Philadelphia logo is there. You can see the outline of it and they wore green, so I kind of made an inference. I guess it's just advertising for Smith, and I don't think he's a shareholder of Anheuser-Busch InBev, so I'm not sure why they're doing that unless they're just doing this guy a favor. But nevertheless, let's go in the comments and see what are folks thinking about this. Is it a really compelling image? Perhaps it is inspiring millions of people to go buy out Bud Light from all their stores. I mean, the odds of that are astronomically small, but nevertheless, it probably isn't zero like the sports balls jersey. Or is it? Now, going down in the comments, first one that got any likes at all comes from Julia Broderick. And she simply said, not an apology, unquote. They got 2 likes. Sour Pig made a comment with no likes, but it was there. This person said, quote, finally you admit Bud Light is just water, unquote. C. Mill chimes in saying not an apology, unquote, getting 5 likes. Jimmy Belfort says hashtag drink piss, unquote. Not recommended, but that did get 3 likes. Let's see here. Zuma, let's see here. They replied with a, I'm not sure it's an AI generated image, but it's an image of a Budweiser Stein. Well, not Stein. Large glass. And it says, you effed up Budweiser. And there was a picture of Dylan Mulvaney and some animated ponies on it. And the quote in the picture that they posted says, but no one cares about Budweiser any longer, unquote. They did get 3 likes. Let's see. So far, all negative. I mean, not to brag, but I did comment. Now, no likes, which is that means even I didn't like it. But nevertheless, I simply said I might need to offer marketing consulting services. Usually the product placements, you can see them. Why don't you even show it here? Why don't you bring back some old mascots? Which, again, I want to say that idea is worthless, well, because no one liked it. However, I would argue that probably be a better idea than anything they're trying to attempt to do. But nevertheless, that was another comment. So I'll say that's negative or critique. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 for 6, all negative comments. The 7th one comes from Ron Johnson, and he says, quote, ice for a different beer, your poop emoji is for trans lovers, bye, unquote. No likes, but 14 people did view that. And again, that's another negative comment. Someone by the name of Chris Rokesham says, quote, and again, I'm not sure what the rules are these days with YouTube since they change every 18 seconds, but I'll just say the pejorative word for the gay community that starts with a Q, and they say Q beer, unquote, and that got 4 likes. And that's all I can see, although, actually, we do have the hidden buttons. So the first one is at the bottom of the feed, and it says, show additional replies, including those that may contain offensive content. Of course, bonus button. Let's click that right now. One of them looks like spam. Comes from Nathan Saunders. Says, for the steal, though he spelled it S-T-E-E-L. Did have a saluting emoji. And it says something about his Bluetooth phone. No one liked that. Yeah, including me. I don't get it. Another hidden response comes from Abdullah Hadi. I don't know why this is censored. He simply said nice. No one liked it. But that is the first positive comment we've seen thus far. And yet, I don't know why that was hidden. You would think, again, all the comments are negative. There's one grain of, I'd say, not solidarity, one positive comment. When you, like a seed of a comment, wouldn't they want to nurture that potential prospective client or fan by liking it themselves or responding it to saying something, just saying, thanks, much appreciated, something. But no, for this particular post, it looks like Bud Light is just taking the silent treatment approach. Julie brought a comment again, but it looks like this one got censored, so let me click it. And there's a GIF of probably some pop culture film I don't realize or recognize, where there's a lady with a sweater and short, what was that, like Elizabeth Warren hairstyle, and the text is, I haven't heard an apology yet, and that did get 1 like. Now if we go, so how many is that viewed, or in terms of publicly facing comments? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So of the 11 that you could see off the bat with, the one moderate censor, you have 1 positive one and then 1 spam. The rest are all negative. However, there's a super secret button that lets you see all the things that Bud Light has hidden, the hidden response button right under the picture. So if you click that right now, comes from Mason Bradford. Mason Bradford said, quote, replying, no contract, no beer. And it looks to be, I'm not sure if it's just coincidence, but it's a pro-union caricature that looks it uses the same text that most Marxists use in their advertising campaigns. And it's just a picture of all the people striking, and it says, no contract, no beer. I guess it's from let's see. I don't want to say the logo's terrible, but what was their logo? the Anheuser-Busch Teamsters, which ironically are not team players, but nevertheless, that did get 14 views. No one liked it. And that looks like that was the only one that Bud Light actually hid. Interesting. It says the youth might say they were ratioed to say the least. And yeah, even sports balls aren't digging them out of this ginormous pit that they've dug themselves by having the worst marketing campaign conceivably in business history. I mean, there's one, I forget the jeweler in the 70s. There's one instance where the founder of a jewelry company was on an interview and he basically admitted they used to sell discount jewelry, and he basically admitted, oh yeah, it's garbage. We buy it for next to nothing. And that company went out of business. Now, I'm not sure if the total revenue of that company, it probably is dwarfed by the sales Bud Light lost. You could argue that was a busier business blunder since they went out of business completely. But in terms of lost revenue and lost market share, still nothing comes close to the Bud Light business blunder of the year, sponsored by Dylan Mulvaney. And sports balls can't bail them out. The good old, what they used to sponsor all the country music events, UFC. They're spending all this money. It'll be interesting to see at the end of the day, does it really help them out with their sales? Let's just say if I were to look at the Magic 8 Ball and shake it up a little bit, I would say the outlook is not so good. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in again today. Trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of January, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a like or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better, improve the quality over time. Also, and lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.